And the Vac is back again. Last week, we talked a lot of nonsense. I don't know if you were there for that, Nate, but we talked a lot of nonsense.
Oh, we always do. Last week? Only last week. Okay.
No, but that was last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so
it was
this
definitely
week.
Guaranteed. Yeah, no, new week, so maybe less nonsense.
We'll see. Hey, I want to know about the Rottnest swim. I'm sorry to cut you off. I need to know about the Rottnest swim. I signed up to your updates, right? And I did check them periodically through the day, all right? But I didn't want the full story.
Yeah.
I wanted it from the man himself. I wanted it from someone who was there. I did very little Googling.
Good. Okay. I can to just start it off, can you please contact the proper authorities?
Me?
I'm a victim of criminal behaviour.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, okay. I'll get him on
I've
a speed
robbed.
dial.
Been absolutely
you got
robbed, pickpocketed.
Oh.
My number plate has been stolen.
Oh.
My Rottnest Channel Swim number plate.
Oh no.
So you know the race was abandoned, right?
Yes.
Apparently it's the first time in 34 years that it's been abandoned mid-race. So it's an aberration in that sense. They've never started a race and halfway through said, look, the weather is actually too poor. We're canning the whole thing.
Man.
So the reason my number plate's been stolen is I did a race plan for my crew and just motivation and whatnot. And one of the things on there was my motto, and it was not all number plates come easy. The goal as set out in this plan was to get a number plate, to complete the race, et cetera, et cetera.
So I'm confused. When do you get the number plate? Surely at the start of the race.
No, you only get it on finishing, and all my merch you get on finishing. I think they're going to send that out to me.
Right.
But only people that finish the Rottnest Channel Swim get the number plate. That's the deal.
Right.
All right, so when it's not just – so it was canned. I was about 9 Ks in to – it would have taken me around 21 kilometres.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people would say, oh, you're not even halfway. Like, you can't even round up.
No,
right?
no.
That's what some would say.
And it's not like you were 1 kilometre short and you know, whatever it is. You had to just get one more and they're like, all right, sure. That's a tap in.
Look, there was plenty of swimming left. There was plenty of swimming left to be done that day. There was no guarantees I was going to make it. But if you take into account the almost 300 kilometres of training I did, I was, no one's counting, but I was 96.3% of the way there.
Right.
But I'm not counting.
No.
I could almost taste it. Even my wife in the support boat, about a half an hour before the thing got canned, she said, guys, we're like this is, she was like, we're so close to getting a number plate. The dream was materializing because I'm literally mid completion, So I was halfway there.
On. Was there any chatter leading up to the event, leading up to the start, where people thought this shit's going to get canned, or did something happen? What happened?
I don't know if I was telling you, but the conditions weren't looking good in the lead up during the week.
Yeah.
So there was going to be a southwester. Well, the rain's not a problem. The rain's indicative of a low pressure zone, which is indicative of unusual conditions in summer in Perth. So,
and fun stuff happens when the temperature drops a little bit. In Perth, you'll go from having like a hot summer's day, really hot, to all of a sudden it gets a bit cloudy and the earth goes, the whole weather system goes, I'm going into fuck you mode. I'm just going into storm mode. Let's go. You get those gnarly summer storms.
Yeah, you get a bit of that. It was a chop fest. Like when you look out on the ocean, it's dark before you start. So you don't really have you have a sense of it though, because it's raining and you can hear the ocean.
How terrifying.
It was so, and I knew it was going to be bad because you're praying for an easterly as long as possible. That's what you want, easterly, which is going to be pushing you to Rottnest. We didn't even get an easterly at all. It was a 5 a.m. southwester.
So was it brutal out there? How were you going at 9 Ks?
I was actually going.
Feeling good?
I was going pretty well. So to tell you the truth, I mean, early on, I knew the conditions weren't great, but when that message goes around at 4:30 saying the swim's on, it means that it's not being cancelled because of poor conditions.
It's happening.
So we had been given the green light, and they've
Green.
never. It was green. It was a green light, and I knew I knew it was not good. Like I said to the bloke that was dropping me off there, that was helping me get ready at the beginning. I said, if I felt like a little bit backed into a corner, in the sense that I'm completely ready to go. I've got all my gear. I've done my race plan.
Mm-hmm.
I've got I've got a boatload of people waiting for me.
Yep.
Off the coast.
Yep.
My paddler's been dropped off by a friend. He's now going to be somewhere at the beach. He's going to be meeting me about 500 meters into the swim. He's all ready to go. He's given up his Saturday. He got up at 3 something.
Jesus.
I raised $1,500 for my the Macca 200 ride that's later this year. People were donating to that, and I had like a bit of an OnlyFans type page for people
special
that donated.
Content.
All that special content,
Yeah,
got a little bit sexy on there, but not really. And the expectation is palpable. You look out, you think there's no way you should be swimming to Rottnest today. It's fucking insane. Like if in a vacuum, even if I was trying to swim to Rottnest just for my own sense of self-satisfaction, just in a vacuum, you wouldn't turn up that day and say this is the day for it.
Yeah. Shit day.
I've got that in the back of my mind, right?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Also, and I'm someone that's always told you the whole way that I'm relying on good conditions. So this is kind of
doomsday.
This is like the crisis situation, but you're backed into a corner and you're like, you've done all the fucking training.
A lot of people are here for it.
Yeah, a lot of people are here. So anyway, it does steal the mind in the sense that it's go time. Like this is the time you're going to do it. And if you do it in a bad year, people recognize, people know the bad year. So if you say you're a finisher in 2024,
of which there's only 5 people who can claim that.
Yeah, but they didn't even get an official result because they abandoned the race. 5 people did finish.
Yes.
But it doesn't register as a crossing under their name.
Okay.
Because the race was abandoned.
Number plates?
No number plates for that.
No number plates.
They're champions of the channel. I think they already have a number plate. I think they would have done it before. I think. But it was interesting, right? So during the race, as I said, I know the conditions are bad, but because we've been given a green light, I just assume that this is maybe what the ocean is like when you're doing a Rottnest channel swim crossing. I wasn't thinking too much about it. I was in a bubble, right? I had no one to talk to about this.
No, you're just in the water. You're having a swim.
I don't even know what's happening on the boat. I didn't know.
You've never done it before, so you don't know what a good day is or a bad day, really.
I've done it in a team about 6 years ago, and it was a good day.
Right. Good day.
It was a good day. So I knew it was bad, and I said to my paddler, I popped up for one of the drink breaks, and I'm someone that thinks about the positive, but I'm not. I don't know if I was trying to delude myself, but you have to. You can't complain about the conditions when you know it gets worse towards the end of the swim. You have to really embrace. Like I wasn't actually upset with the conditions, and I said to him that my stroke is actually well suited to these conditions.
Ah, good.
I've been told this by a lot of people I haven't done.
And you bought in.
Not too many people. A part of me was thinking maybe I'm trying to just convince myself that another hour later, I said to the guys, I can tell these are poor conditions, but I'm actually perfectly suited to this. I actually felt like a seal and I was having a great time.
Remember his job. Part of his job is to make sure that you're not acting delusional. Right? So you're popping up, I don't know how far you are into it. Just going, hey, mate. He goes, hey. Just letting you know I'm totally fine. In fact, I've never felt better.
Actually, now that you say it, he probably was within his rights just to report back that I'm absolutely delirious because all I did was keep popping up and saying how well this is going.
He's out there probably struggling himself, having a rough time in his little boat, keeping up, trying to just sort of maintain. I think anything you do for a long period of time is hard. That's just how I feel about most things. So he's going, you're just popping up going, hey, man, I'm perfectly suited to the worst conditions in 30 years.
No, but
That's
I was.
great.
I have a
Yeah,
really
you were loving
long
it.
lead arm. And also I've got a relatively big upper body compared to a lot of these swimmers. I've been telling you before in all my training and the events I've done where there's these whippets that swim in the ocean and they're like darts. There's nothing to them, and I don't understand how they do it. They've got perfect technique.
Yes.
This is what I was thinking. They will be getting mauled by those waves, absolutely
Right.
destroyed. They need flat conditions. I'm a bit more robust, and I've got a bit of a dirtier stroke, but it's a bit more powerful as well, like long, powerful strokes. And I was actually, again, I don't know if it's because I had to be, because this is a bit of a. This is one thing why I signed up to this, and I'm not trying to overstate it, but in a way, it is a bit of a. I don't want to say life and death situation. It's a perform or fail situation.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what I mean about you backed into a corner. Like I had this. I felt like pretty sick right at the start. I was really actually nervous. It's been a long time since I've been nervous because I know it's going to be a long day, and I'm thinking, geez, this. I don't know what I'm in for here. Like it is lumpy, and I'm about to. And this is, I haven't even gotten to the ocean yet. So
these crazy people on the Rottnest Channel Swim Wikipedia who are completing it in under sort of 4.5 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, that sort of stuff. Where were you aiming to hit? How like what was your speed going to be if you would have finished?
I was going around about. I was tracking for around about 7 hours. I would have, if I dropped off near the end, more like 7.5. I think it'd be very unlikely I would have been 8, particularly the way I was going. I was actually going at 3 kilometers an hour. I probably had to swim 21 kilometers based on my sort of trajectory.
Bloody hell! And you did the Bustleton jetty swim, right?
Yes.
Which is a lap of the jetty.
Yeah.
You go around it, you come back. What was the KMs on that? I just need to get some ideas.
Okay, that was 3.6 Ks.
Right, so that's not a Rottnest Channel swim.
It's about a fifth. So
Are you bummed? Are you bummed you didn't get to finish?
I'm devastated. I'm
I know,
heartbroken.
I can hear it.
I'm
I can
really
hear
disappointed
it.
because I was like, I totally understand why they called it off. I don't blame them, and I don't want anyone to get hurt so I can get a number plate.
That's right.
I totally understand it, but we'll go into the reasons why they canned it. I guess I got a view on that, but I guess I'm most upset because I was actually I was in the zone, like because they say a lot of it. I've been told this a lot of people beforehand that it's mental, and you don't actually know what they mean. I don't really know what they mean.
I know what they mean. What they mean is that if I, Val, tried and thought hard enough, I could have done the Rottnest Channel swim. It's 100% mental. There's a literally 0% physical component to this whatsoever. There's that zero. It's near zero.
Well, you have to have done. The thing is, you have to have done the physical component before the day. But that the physical component leads into the mental component.
I would say so.
So this is what I mean about that's why if you haven't done the training, there's
you can't
almost
be mentally
a crack
prepared.
in your mental line where you know. And I was actually really worried. Like that gave me a lot of confidence because I just kept mentally. I knew I was like, I've done the training. I was like, I could do this.
What do you mean you've done the training?
Well, I followed a proper training program.
You did?
Yeah, and I did probably the best training I've ever done for an event because I'm not a swimmer. I had to do this. Like I can't just rely on experience and
I've done endurance stuff before.
Yeah, with the running, and I haven't really done extreme cycling, but with the running stuff, I've got such a sort of a foundation that I can fall back on. And I know with running you can just walk, but it's a bit different when you're in the ocean and you're out there just bobbing away. You can't just stop out there.
What's that like? Do you have to have breaks every now and then? You said you had a drinks break. How does that work?
Well, every 20 minutes. My team and everything worked seamlessly. I've been talking to people and I've heard some of the adversity other teams have gone through where things just fell apart. Mine was, I put a lot of effort into communicating with them and training with them, and they were all in on it. So
That's awesome.
It worked very
that's
well.
Really cool. That's really cool.
And they've all told me, even before I said I was going to do it next year, they said, like, the skipper and my paddler, the two key people, said, man, if you're doing it next year, I'm in.
Cool. That's really nice.
But every 20 minutes I had a meal plan. And
a meal plan?
Yeah, a meal plan, a feeding plan.
Burger rings?
There were no burger rings. There was bananas on there. There was jelly beans, sultanas.
Right.
Tailwinds, a carb drink. But every 20 minutes,
right,
the paddler basically just sort of starts holding out the stuff, and I know it's time to go. And I'd just scull about 200 mils of this liquid and have a quick nibble on something, and it'll probably be about a 40-second break, 40 second.
It's not a drinks break where the kayak sort of pulls up to you. You sort of lean on him like he's the bar and sort of order a drink, and he serves it. It's got an umbrella in it.
Well, you can get disqualified for holding on to anything.
To anything?
Yeah, anything. You can't touch the boat. You can't touch the kayak. The kayaker gives everything to me on like a pole. But this is how I knew I was on, and this is what was all feeding into the mental side of it, because it was I think I had to be quite present, which I don't want to use that word, but with my swimming, because of the conditions, it was quite technical, where there's swell rolling over you quite regularly. So you can't breathe every stroke. You have to constantly change your breathing pattern. And when you feel the swell coming over, you just have to decide, all very seamlessly. I'm swimming through this breath, and that's not a hard thing to do, but it is. You have to constantly be thinking about what you're doing.
Calculations, yeah, because it's not flat.
Yeah, in the pool, I zone out, and I find it almost meditative, where I'm just breathing every third stroke. I'm looking at the line. I don't have to think about anything. This thing was like I was like completely in the zone.
There's no reason to train in ridiculous choppy conditions, because the race, will only happen in okay conditions. Shitty at best, but not super shitty.
That's true. And you really only get swells like we got on a day. Like, you have to go out from shore, and you just wouldn't go out from shore on a day like that. It just feels very sharky. I didn't think about sharks once, because I was dealing with people ask me, they go, oh, they looked a bit sharky to me with the cloud cover.
Sure.
Did you worry about sharks? I didn't think about sharks once. Not once, because I was actually dealing with actual issues. Like, I had real issues to deal with.
I think the Rottnest channel swim's a good one for talking about sharks, because no one's ever been eaten during a Rottnest channel swim, right?
No one's been taken. They've spotted some sharks, but
yeah, you spot them. They're out there
because they're looking for them. They've got dedicated helicopters looking for them.
Plus, you got shitloads of support boats in the water, plus a lot of people.
And I'm sure sure that's not. Sharks don't want that kind of attention, do they?
I think they'd think there's a ruckus going on. Maybe they'd want to get involved a little bit. I don't know. Who knows? But either way, I reckon if a shark rocked up to the Rottnest channel swim, it'd be like a bit like Netflix or something. So many options, wouldn't be able to decide on one. And if he did watch one, he'd only watch it for a couple of minutes, and then he'd fucking turn it off because he's bored. So too many options.
They're not interested.
It's not a smorgasbord. He's not looking to nab 100 people. This is not a Jaws scenario.
Yeah, I'm not like swimming with, my pinky toe bleeding into the water or anything.
Right. Yeah. Is that something that we only think about because of Jaws? Because I think every single person, if they cut themselves near the water, especially if you're down at the beach or something, you cut your foot on a rock or coral or something, you immediately think, now that my blood's in the water, I'm going to die.
I wouldn't be in the water if I was bleeding. I can tell you that much, because I don't know if it's true, but have you heard the stat that a shark can detect one drop of water in a swimming pool? The thing is, a swimming pool. You said
a drop of water in a swimming pool. I'm sure it can do much better than that. I think it's a drop of blood in a.
You heard me. You heard me.
It can smell water, bro.
But also in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, the ocean is so vast that one Olympic-sized swimming pool isn't actually that much water.
Yes.
So you probably actually need a decent
I think it's a
amount of
lot
blood.
better than that. I think it's better than that. I think the stats I read was, kilometre or two. Like, you know what I mean? I thought it was something ridiculous like that. You're saying it's just one drop of blood in an Olympic swimming pool. Is that true?
I don't know. Is that like a myth of some kind? Probably.
Look, it's
That's what I've
probably
heard.
just it's probably just shark drop of blood pool myth. I don't know how to. False. The notion that a shark can smell a single drop of blood in the ocean has been largely exaggerated due to the hysteria that often arises when discussing these creatures. Sharks do, however, have an acute sense of smell and a sensory olfactory system. Olfactory? Do you know what an olfactory system is?
Is it their nose? It's their nose. I think they can detect electrical vibrations and things like that with their nose.
See, this is now I'm looking at the BBC Science Focus magazine. Can sharks smell a drop of blood in the water? Sharks can smell blood, they don't say a drop, from up to around a quarter of a mile away.
Quarter of a mile, 400 meters. Okay.
So, look, we're a balanced thing. We're showing the first one that says the notion that a shark can smell a single drop of blood in the ocean has been largely exaggerated. I mean, that notion that a shark can smell a single drop of blood in the ocean is very vague. Which ocean? All of them?
Well,
could he be on the other side of the world and go, blood?
What I really doesn't compute with me at all is when they talk about smelling in water. Sure. Isn't that tasting? Like, you can't. If I tried to smell the ocean,
good point.
Right. I mean, I can smell the ocean. I can fucking smell it, and it smells awful, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, what are they? How is it a nose? I don't know. I'm not a scientist.
There's probably sharks right now, in a similar circumstance, doing a podcast about humans, and they're talking about how isn't it amazing that dogs can smell incredibly well, and they sniff each other's bums.
I think they're probably doing all the time. They must. Luffingham must have a different perception of reality to what I do because of his sense of smell. He goes for walks purely to smell stuff.
Yeah, because there's an information in the smell. It's carrying information, culture.
When sometimes people put chicken poo on their lawn as fertilizer, he is rolling around on that thing. I can't get him off. He's like infatuated with it. He must smell like the poo.
He likes it.
He loves it.
Why do they like the bad smelling stuff so much?
I reckon there must be something. He thinks it smells good. He thinks it smells like Chanel.
Okay. Could we try something?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Cook
can.
A really nice spaghetti bolognese, right? A really nice one.
Okay.
Pop it outside, like cooked, like ready to, like just cooked. Go put it outside on the route that you take Luff on, and see if he goes to smell it.
He's back now, actually. He's back from his walk now. Did you find any spaghetti bolognese? Chicken poo? No, he found a sprinkler, I can tell that.
I'd be fascinated to know if, he goes over and smells it on his own accord. B, if he instantly tries to eat it because he recognizes that it's edible food. And this is a bit different for the walks he's used to having.
Well, if he found spaghetti bolagnese,
just a cooked meal, just sitting on the road.
He eats everything.
So he'd eat it straight away.
Oh, straight away.
But it's not in his bowl or anything. It's just in the world.
Bro,
he'd love it.
He has never.
Turned down a bit. We wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it. He'd eat that thing. He would spot it a mile away. He'd smell it because he smells so good. He would smell it from kilometers away.
So he likes good smelling things, bad smelling things. They're non-discriminatory with what they like to smell.
He likes young plants.
What does that mean?
He likes young plants. So plants
like saplings?
Saplings, anything that's growing. It must release some kind of smell, and he knows it's growing. And he gets very excited by them. So all small bushes.
So he's a botanist as well.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He's very intrigued.
It's going to be fun when we start chatting to him, I promise. That is going in the calendar. That is going in the calendar. Talking to your pets.
The bark
having
translator.
Conversations with your pets. Yeah. Pop it in the calendar. I'll say 5 years we've got before our animals are talking.
I want to close off on my on my swim very quickly. So
Cool.
I was just, I felt like I was just in the zone. Like I knew I was on, because these 20-minute intervals where I was getting fed felt like 1 minute would pass, 2 minutes maybe. I was like, I was experiencing time dilation. So the drinks felt, so I went through about 9 or 10 drink stops, and they were just coming so quickly. And each one of those, I'm swimming about a kilometre in between.
So you were just checkpoints going, yep, that felt fine. Keep going.
Felt fine. And each time I got to one, I was feeling so strong. I told my kayaker, like, let me know if they bring the cutoffs forward, because they're likely to do it in the conditions, because I'm swimming within myself. I've got, another gear if I have to. Like I'm swimming within myself because it's a long swim. I'm still worried about the distance. But if I'm at risk of being cut off, I can increase my speed. So I'm preparing myself for the adversity that comes in the second half of this. The thing that this is what I'm most worried about, because I've done quite a few 10-ish kilometre swims. So I've trained for that. The second half is where the conditions deteriorate traditionally towards Rottnest, and the current gets way worse. So I'm mentally going, I'm feeling great. I'm in the zone. I'm strong. I've got a perfect stroke. Everything's going. I'm like thinking the training is working, because I'm not even gassed. Like normally I'm pretty wrecked towards this point. And I don't know if it was mental, where I'm just trying to G myself up for this.
I think there's something about game day as well. There's something about game day. There's something about adversity too that can push us.
And I didn't have an option.
No.
I didn't have an option. Like the conditions, it's not like, I think looking for excuses was not going to help me in this situation. I was looking for results. And so I was so ready I was so psyched up for this second half. I was really feeling comfortable.
What was worst case scenario? You get gassed, right? You're fucked that far in. What would be the play? What's the play then?
Well, you have to call it and
get on the boat.
Get in the boat. Yeah, you can run out of gas. Your shoulders could just cark.
Do you know what percentage of people usually sort of complete it?
Well, in 2003, that was the worst conditions they have on record that the swim went ahead. Only 43% of those that started finished.
Wow.
So
in a normal one, in a regular year, that would be higher.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it would be way higher. Yeah, it would be way higher. It would be in the 90s.
90s?
Yeah.
Far out. I should enroll just to get that number down a little bit.
So I was pretty shocked when I was told, my kayaker mentioned that we have to evacuate the water. The race is done.
Yep.
I was really confused, because I didn't think they could call it like that. I know they can bring the cutoffs forward. And originally they said they did like a hard cutoff. They basically said anyone not at the 14K mark has to evacuate. But that was 95% plus of the field. So that was just basically, that was a semi-closure. And then 5 minutes later they said the whole race is abandoned.
Yep. Yeah, bummer.
So I was confident I could make it. Hypothermia, I was pretty cold. When I got out, I felt fine in the water, but then as soon as I got out, the girls commented that my lips were blue, and I was quite like shaky and a little bit disorientated, but I had just been swimming for 3.5 hours.
That will do it. Like, I don't need to go for a swim for 3.5 hours to get a bit shaky. Like the other night, I all of a sudden, just got very cold. Very cold.
Yeah.
Started shivering for no reason at all. And you know that thing where you think, oh my God, I've got a fever. Jump into bed.
Yeah.
Covers on. I'm like, wow, I haven't worn a blanket in weeks. What is this? What is this thing? And no, it was totally fine.
It was a cold night. There was a couple of cold nights a few nights ago. I mean, I had to.
Praise the Lord.
I had to put a hoodie on the other day.
Oh,
I had to dig it out. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I was wearing thongs, flip-flops and a hoodie.
When I got back from Japan, I thought I skipped the summer. I thought I did it. Came back.
Oh, no, man.
Fuck, man. Just getting started. I thought AFL, which starts soon, is a winter sport. What the fuck is this shit? Like,
it is soon, isn't it? It's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually, I just want to clarify why it was cancelled as well.
Great.
Because what have you heard?
Bad conditions. Multiple people had to be rescued from the water. 4 people were sent to hospital. Bad conditions.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. And I think that's the official line, where the
That's the
conditions have
Wikipedia.
deteriorated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the I think at the core is a safety issue. So
Of course.
Yeah, there weren't apparently their emergency services got stretched so thin that they just couldn't. It was just chaos out there. There were boats taken on water, boats losing power, paddlers capsizing, paddlers who couldn't find the swimmers, boats that couldn't find the paddlers, and everyone was just on the emergency radio, and it was just drowned out. So that then people removing themselves for the race, you have to report it on the race radio. My wife was saying that there was just like a period where there was just constant stream of people dropping out. But the problem is there's actual emergencies going on, but they can't communicate because the lines is just full of people.
Well, they need a dedicated line for dropouts and a dedicated line for emergencies, right?
Yeah. Well, that all boats have to be on the emergency channel in case they, for example, put if there's a shark in the water, they all have to be tuned. Channel. So you have to be tuned into the one channel. So everything happens on one channel, which is a bit problematic. But yeah, they just didn't have enough. Apparently they had a record number of rescue craft and people, but it just got overwhelmed, and they just thought, look, it actually gets worse towards the end. That's traditionally when the emergency services are needed. So if you've got chaos now,
early.
They just saw the writing on the wall, and they're like, this is just a bad idea. Because that's why I'm so glad they did can it, because can you imagine if they keep going and people...
The chaos continues.
Imagine if they do have a death because they don't get the rescue.
Yeah.
They're not rescued quickly enough because the lines are all jammed up, and they decided to go ahead with it. It actually, you could cancel the Rottnest channel swim. It could be over.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
So I've got
I'm
unfinished
bummed
business.
for you, man. I'm really bummed for you.
Unfinished business.
Yeah, you go back. Yeah, you'll go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too technical as well. You might just want to check your audio setting on the animation thing. Just double check it.
Yeah.
What else has been happening?
Well, it's actually quite related in a way, but I know a good family friend of ours. This is my inspiration. This is my swimming inspiration.
Great.
She's 95 years old. It's my friend's grandmother. She's legally blind, and she swims 2 kilometers directly out into the ocean at 95. No, it's 95 and legally blind, and swims back. And the only reason I know this, I almost didn't believe it, because I'm like, how do you even swim? I had no sense of direction when I'm out there, and I can see. But she's been picked up twice by the Coast Guard in the shipping channel, which starts at 1.8 kilometers out.
Holy shit.
That is insanity. They pick her up, and it's this little old lady, and they're like, lady, you can't be out here.
Wow. That is incredible.
So she can see, she's legally blind. She can't see. She has something that obstructs her like vision, where in front of her she can't see, but she can see out the sides of her eyes, like the corner. She has like the edges of her peripheral vision she can see.
So she'd know where the shore was, and she'd know where water was.
Yeah, I think so.
If she side eyes you, she could have a chat to you.
Yeah, exactly. She's like a fish, literally a fish.
That's insane.
Anyway, if she can do it, I know she's not swimming a Rotto, but I mean, she's 95. That's incredible.
Did she only just pick up swimming, or has she been doing it for a long time?
She must have. I assume this is something that
just
she does
a new
on
hobby.
A regular basis.
All right, it could be just something she's picked up. It's never too late, people.
Yeah, but that was my weekend.
Oof, Jesus.
I felt fine on Sunday because I only did, I mean, that's how the body was holding up just fine.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a shame. Very swimmable. Back. Yeah, I'll have to be back. It is unfinished business. I'm sure is there a movie, Unfinished Business? Because if there isn't.
Unfinished Story is the Nate story.
Yeah.
Unfinished Business. The Rottnest channel swim.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was thinking we don't have any sponsors.
No.
that I know of. Unless, I should check in. Have we had any sponsors in the last week?
No, we haven't had a sponsor this week.
So I was just thinking I should just pick things I want.
Right, and plug it.
Maybe not plug it, but yeah, like beg for sponsorship. Does that work? Like, will they listen if I?
Yeah, I think they do. I think that's one of the main. I think that's one of the main avenues for sponsorship these days.
Because my brother was telling me about Archie's thongs, and I can't believe I haven't thought of this myself. Because flip flops are just okay. Everyone wears them, right? But they're rubbish. They are rubbish. They're old. It's like old tech. It's like something a caveman would wear. Like a double plugger is caveman. And we know there's flaws in double pluggers.
Yes.
I haven't even bought these yet.
Right.
But I want them. Or they could give me some.
That's what I mean.
I understand it's a single piece of rubber, or maybe that it's somehow fucking welded. It's not a double plugger, is what I'm saying. It's seamless the way the Y strap feeds into the base of the thing, and it's got arch support. So the way I see it,
how have you did you just describe sandal though?
But it's better than a sandal because it is a flip flop. It is a thong. But it's got arch support.
I'll be honest. The classic pluggers, right? Uncomfortable as fuck. The plastic thing where your toe goes in between, literally unplayable.
It's awful.
It's an awful feeling. I have nice ones where that fabric at the toes is very kind.
Yeah.
And they're great shoes. But what's with the flipping and the flopping? Why are we flipping and flopping? What's that?
We shouldn't be.
What is the function of the flipping and the flopping?
The reason you're flipping and flopping is you're having
There's
blowouts.
no back support. There's no arch support.
You're blowing out the double plugger, and you've got no control over it anymore, and it's just flopping and flipping all over the place. It shouldn't be flopping and flipping at all.
But what was the original purpose of the flipping and the flopping?
It's a defect. I think you call them flip flops because they're just flopping all over the place. They shouldn't be. They should be stable. They should be. Right. They need to be on your feet.
Right.
That's my point. So I jumped on this. My brother said he swore by him.
Yeah.
And so I jumped on the website.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I started looking at the ratings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Firstly, I was looking at the slippers, right? And they had something like 8,000 reviews at 4.8. And I was like, that is huge. Then I went back to just the regular flippy floppy arch support thongs. 80,891 reviews as it currently stands, 4.9. You couldn't, aren't the trolls out there? Isn't there someone trying to troll this thong? Isn't someone just giving it a 1 star because they're a dick? You can't get reviews like that.
Right.
You can't buy a review. Michael A, verified buyer, 6 hours ago, absolute rippers, best thongs ever. And he's got a photo of his feet.
What's the brand?
Archies.
Okay. They just look like thongs.
Yeah, but then you're not going to have a blowout because they're one piece of rubber and they've got arch support. Have you been listening to anything I've been saying the last 2 minutes?
How does it have arch support? I'm looking at the thongs. How do they have arch support?
Oh, baby, you got to see the profile. You got to see a side-on profile.
Okay.
Click on the ratings and people take pictures of their feet. So if you've got a foot fetish, it's kind of like doubles up.
Ugh, I definitely don't.
You don't want to see Mara P's green thongs on her feet. That's 8 hours ago. Lean and green. Love my new green color Archies. Already have coral, grey and lime green. Most comfortable things I've ever owned.
Would you buy 3 pairs of them just for the color choices? Would you do that?
I wouldn't personally. I'd buy one and see how I go with it. But I think I can probably just know that they're good and just, buy 4 or 5. I mean, that's not unreasonable.
Arch support thongs.
So, I'm saying...
See, I think the original purpose of the flipping and the flopping is to give you the illusion that you're sort of not wearing shoes at all, that you're barefoot. Meaning, when you step on the ground, hey, You're not feeling the hot planet Earth or the hot sand at the beach. Oh, lift off. Oh, we're walking. I'm not wearing shoes at all. I think that's sort of the romance of it. I completely don't understand that from a comfort perspective, and that's something that I cherish. So, yeah, I'm all up for these arch support thongs.
Yeah, I would like them to sponsor us. So Archies, if you're out there. Yep.
Very clever, isn't it?
I think if you're flipping...
They've solved a problem which didn't really exist, but once they fixed it, you don't even know why we didn't recognize it as a problem.
I know. It's so obvious. When I saw them, I was like, this is so obvious. How have I not thought of this?
Yeah.
Because it's just an improvement on the thing that already exists.
You know, it's the age of the arch now, and one day, I'm not saying like soon, but the trend will reverse. You know, people will want the flipping and the flopping. They'll want to walk on air. I don't know.
I think the reason the flipping and the flopping is so exciting to people,
right,
is you don't flip and flop around at work, do you? At work, you're very reserved and conservative and in control. You're not flipping and flopping.
No.
You're wearing enclosed footwear for starters.
Yes.
Generally.
Yes.
And the whole vibe's wrong. When you're flipping and flopping, you're on holiday. You're flopping around on the bed. You're flipping at the beach. Yeah. Yep.
Go for a walk. You want to hear that clank. Did you used to go to the shops when you were a kid and just stamp the ground with your thongs? Made a really great sound. Did you ever do that?
No.
Just me then.
Why?
Just because it made a cool sound.
Oh.
But then you get the look from your mum of just shut the fuck up kind of thing. You know, it was that kind of jam.
Oh, look, limited edition Kelly Green. Get them while they're hot.
Quite expensive though, aren't they? Well,
that's what Hattie's cost.
You'll never need to buy another pair of thongs again. Yeah, but quite expensive for me for thongs is anything above like $5.
Yeah, I just buy the Kmart $5. But then you go through them and they're just shithouse. Like, and also all those thongs you buy that you throw out because you
could have just had one pair of these things. Right?
Yeah, it's terrible for the environment. How many thongs are you going to go through in your life? Could you imagine all the thongs you've ever owned in your life just piled up in a rubbish pile?
What are you saying? This is the one thong to rule them all? You can buy one of these. You'll never have to buy a pair of thongs. You can get buried in these things. Is that what you're talking about?
I haven't read any of the guarantees, but I'm pretty sure that's a lifetime guarantee. I'm pretty sure.
Wowzers.
I'm going to go out there and say that I'll give you a lifetime guarantee.
Do you reckon these things are 3D printed?
I hope so. I don't know, but if they're not, we should.
Great job, guys. Send us a T-shirt.
If you do T-shirts.
Yeah, send us a T-shirt.
Yeah, so...
we can just cut that up and send that straight to them, right?
Yeah.
And be like, here's the sponsorship bit that you wanted.
Yeah, tell them, don't worry about doing ads.
They'll be confused. They'll think, did we ask the Vacuous Perspective to make us an ad?
Yeah, we'll just email it.
And they say, no. And we'll go, well, they just did. And it's awesome. Maybe they won't say that. Maybe they say it's terrible. But they can cut it up and make it just the good bits if they want it.
Yeah, well, we haven't even actually used the thong. That's why we need a pair sent to us so we can actually report back on how good they are. Because we know they're good. We just need to confirm it.
Yeah, the photos make it very good. There's one with a lady on a bicycle trying to give the appearance that, hey, you can ride a bike safely with these thongs on, which you can't do with flippies and the floppies. It's dangerous.
Do you want an update on space balloons or greedy black holes?
Oh, geez.
I'll give you the option. The power is yours.
Give me the black holes because I'm interested.
Okay, good, because I don't really know what's going on with that. So all I know, let me tell you what I know, and then we'll go into it, is we have I like first times on the Vacuous Perspective. You like first times, right?
They're the best.
I like first times. So, and like new things. So the biggest, the best, like, you know, the boat, what was it? The brightest of all time, the brightest light ever detected, shit like that. Okay, we got a new one.
Oh, so we've had boats, we've had goats. What else we got?
Okay, this one is, so a team of researchers out of Australian National University
Yes.
have discovered the fastest growing black hole recorded in human history.
Right.
Which just means, we've only just recently started looking at it in space, but it's the fastest growing black hole. But I scanned the article before and the guy reckons it may never get broken. So we'll have to dig into that. But
wow, he's pulled the whole Bill Gates thing, like you'll never need more than 8 megabytes of memory or whatever.
Is that what he said? Yeah.
Well, he said
it's
that
a bit like
the
the
90s.
Archies. It's a bit like these Archies thongs. You're only going to need the one pair of thongs for the rest
I think
of your
he
life.
said something like there's no way you're going to need more than 8-bit or something. I don't know what he said.
Hilarious. So this is devouring the equivalent of one sun. Hold on. The equivalent of one sun every day. Oh, okay. I think that when I thought they were doing that fucking grain of rice thing. Remember when they said it's the equivalent of one grain of rice per like 100 years or whatever. And then when we did the math, it turns out it's like a moon a month or something. Yeah, okay. Yes. That was an early episode. I'll have to link that episode in the bottom.
Right, yeah, see if you can find it.
So this is devouring the equivalent of one sun every day. So I've got the article here. The fastest growing black hole ever recorded.
Is this a problem? Should we be worried about this? Because if a black hole continues to grow, never stops, won't it one day,
Yeah, how many suns?
Reach out and start fucking up some galaxies.
How much mass is there in the universe?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think, well, enough to fit into like your finger, right? Enough to fit on the end of your finger.
And this thing's been hiding in plain sight because it's the most luminous object known in the universe. It is because of all the stuff that's being sucked into it, which is weird. It's a black hole. I don't understand how this works. But
well, they're not detecting the black hole's brightness. They're detecting the stuff around it that's constantly getting fucked up by it, I guess.
I guess so, because it says the quote here by this Professor Wolf is the incredible rate of growth also means a huge release of light and heat. And it's 500 trillion times brighter than our sun. And we hadn't detected it. We had no idea. He said, it's a surprise it remained undetected until now, given what we know about many other less impressive black holes. It was hiding in plain sight.
Oh, Jesus. They probably didn't think to point it at the thing that's a trillion times brighter than the sun to find a black hole.
Yeah, it's almost counterintuitive, isn't it?
A little bit. So we need to start looking at the very bright things.
So this has a mass roughly 17 billion
times. No one
times.
talks about that in the cold death of the universe, about black holes just sucking everything up. Because are they becoming bigger as they suck?
Well, this is one of the things
They're
that Stephen Hawking discovered. He's famous for knowing that black holes actually slowly evaporate. They emit a type of radiation, Hawking radiation, it's been called.
Typical.
Over enough time, they evaporate. So nothing is forever. You think black holes are going to be forever? They're gone as well. Not even them.
Nothing gets to escape the cold death of the universe. And I remember when I used to think that wouldn't happen. I remember when it must have been Brian Cox or something started talking about the cold death of the universe.
The inevitable.
It got to halfway through the video, and I was like, "Where's the crunch? When's the crunch? There's no crunch? Nope. It just gets really dark and really cold."
Yeah, we always thought the universe was contracting, but
having another
not.
go. We thought we were in the 7th version of the Matrix, but we're actually in could be the only.
Yeah. So this black hole has a mass roughly 17 billion times that of our sun.
Space numbers.
I love space numbers, and the light from this black hole traveled over 12 billion years to reach us, which is, when the universe is 13.7 billion years, I still don't know what these things mean.
How does that happen?
How does it? It seems like it's.
Oh, I know how it can happen.
Tell me.
Okay. Let's say you've got some light that you detected that is...
I love how we try and explain these things in words to each other when we have no idea. It's
4.
great. I love listening to
billion,
this later.
4.6 billion years away, right?
Okay.
4.6 billion light years away, right? We detect some light, right?
Yeah.
And you're wondering, wait, what's this light, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in theory, right? Well, hang on, let's just think. You've got the Big Bang. Let's just call that the middle, all right? You've got all sides of the middle.
Okay.
If we detect light from the other side of the middle, from the other side of the middle, that could travel quite a big distance. It could be very far. It may be light that doesn't even exist yet, but it will when the light gets here.
I'm not sure about it. You had me. I was with you. I was completely
No,
with you.
I'm just saying it could already be there right now. We just can't see it yet.
Yes. Oh, yes, of course.
Because it could be in the stage.
On its way. It's in the pipeline.
On its way.
It's in the pipeline.
And that could be a very far away light, is what I'm saying. I just think at one point we're going to design the new telescope, the new JWST 3.0, right?
Oh, boy.
Or the 4.0, right?
4.0.
I just reckon we build that and then all of a sudden it's just they turn it on and they go, look, this detects a new thing that we've never tried to detect before. We've tried doing light. We've tried infrared. We're trying this new thing that detects stuff. And they turn it on and it just goes blam. There's fucking aliens. There's fucking aliens everywhere. They're fucking, you know what I mean? It just goes bam. Here's your planets. There they are.
Well, we're sort of okay. We're at that point, but it's slower because the JWST can detect the chemical signatures of planets that are likely to harbor life, and so it can analyze
but that's right
them.
now.
Yes, and it's very slow. You have to do one. I think it's done thousands of planets. It's done thousands, but there's we need to be doing it thousands a day. We need to be studying 10,000 planets.
Like I said,
we need
scale.
We need scale.
Yeah,
huge scale. Yeah, but
it'd be a huge discovery still. It'd still be a huge discovery.
Aliens, yeah.
If they went, oh well, here's a planet that definitely harbored life. If they had evidence for that, that would be great.
Yeah, it's inevitable, isn't it? It's going to happen, and it'll be actually quite anticlimactic because someone will go, "Oh, hey, we've actually detected that we're like very, very confident that there will be some form of life. Like it's not."
And everyone goes, "Yeah, we knew that."
Everyone goes, "Yeah, we've just been waiting for it." And then eventually we'll send out something to get a probe, like not in our lifetimes, of course. A probe will go out there. It'll collect a little bit of sample. It'll come back and it'll go like, "Oh, yeah, we've got alien bacteria. There it is." And we're like, "Oh, cool. All right. What do we do now?" Nothing. Just keep doing the same stuff.
Just hope Independence Day doesn't happen. That's kind of what we happen.
We just have to hope they didn't evolve on some other planet into
I think one of the reasons why we still don't really know about sort of that sort of jam, like UFOs and whatnot, in my opinion, I think it's all pretty grey. We could have one legit sighting in amongst 10,000 reports. You know what I mean? But if there's one, that's enough. I just think the reason why they would keep it under wraps is because everyone would get shit scared and think it's Independence Day 1.0. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think is the real reason for hiding it, if they're hiding it. Because I think it would cause mass hysteria.
It would be a problem from the control point of view. It would be an existential. We would suffer a collective existential crisis.
Fravor talked about the capabilities. He was the pilot who saw the Tic Tac UFO. He was talking about their capabilities. He's just like, dude, if they wanted to, like, essentially, if they've got that, fucked.
It was unbelievable the way he described it, isn't he? For someone that knows what
peak performance is,
yes, with
in
our
terms
current
of
capabilities.
aeronautical, capabilities.
It was worlds apart from It was
like you'd listen to a pilot, you'd listen
Earth.
to a commercial pilot who told you something like that, and you'd be like, yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then you talk to a guy who's flown Raptors and stuff, and you're like, oh, okay. And you're like a Top Gun guy, even though he hasn't got the leather jacket and the Tom Cruise sunglasses or whatever. He still piloted the gnarliest airplanes in the US Air Force, and therefore should give a bit more cred to his story
because he's tracked hundreds of. This is what he does. I don't know if he's engaged enemy, but he trains to engage.
And he was inquisitive. He was inquisitive about it. He was like, I want to let's have a look.
We actually need to get exactly what he said about it. I want to re-listen to that Joe Rogan episode he was on, because he would say things like it went from, I'm just making up the numbers, 10,000 feet to 1 foot in a second.
Yeah.
Just instantly.
After it was at that point, I believe it was hovering above the water or something, causing a bit of ruckus on the surface level.
Yeah, he said he could
And
see waves
the water.
breaking over something that looked like a T-shaped structure in the water, and it was going. The Tic Tac was going up and down and side to side along this T-shaped structure that he could see clear as day because it was a beautiful day and there was no whitecaps anywhere else, but there was water breaking over this weird structure. And then as he approached it, I believe the structure just sort of disappeared or something. I don't know exactly what happened to that.
I don't know about structure. I didn't hear anything about the structure.
Well, he said there was something.
I thought he said there was something that was causing a disturbance on the water.
Okay.
But when he decided he was going to go down and have a look-see, he started doing that spiral thing where they don't directly fly straight down when they want to go down. They sort of like do a gradual descent, which by going in a sort of spiral circle. And it started mimicking his movements in the other direction. So it started mimicking his spiral up.
And
that
meet him at a...
Yeah. And that fucked him up. And just quickly on the water aspect of this.
Yeah.
A really easy thing for the government to be able to say in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, whenever, is, well, we didn't tell you they were aliens because they're not aliens, because they're from Earth and they live underwater. That, to me, is where that line of thinking is going. They're not UFOs, they're USOs and UFOs. They're both. They're submerged objects, they're flying objects. So, you know, ocean's pretty big.
Yeah, true. But something living under the water raises a whole another kettle of fish. But if then all I'm saying there is that we could have seen stuff zipping around that's all terrestrial. It's all earthbound stuff, and that's not an alien, technically. Alien to us, yes. But don't you find it fascinating that every depiction of aliens in like movies seems like aquatic or reptilian based? Like they all have that watery alien vibe. They do a little bit. So would you say a classic grey has that? No. The big eyes. No. See,
not really.
Yeah, I don't think they do either. Like you could maybe confuse them with like sort of some like amphibious type.
Maybe they've got like webbed fingers or some shit. I don't know.
They don't remind me of like a grey, the classic big head.
Yep,
frail body, big eyes,
dong done in a knot.
I love those.
That's an Ali G reference. He said, big eyes, grey, dong done in a knot.
It's interesting how those greys, though, I've heard them described before. Like ultimately, in terms of evolution, you think that that's where we're heading.
Yes.
Once the physical body is not important.
Yes.
It's all about brain size. I mean, eyes are obviously pretty critical.
Not if you're using technology to overcome that.
That's true. Even the mouth is unnecessary. I don't know. Sometimes, do greys always have a mouth when they're depicted? I don't know.
Probably, but I've never seen them smile.
That's weird, isn't it? Maybe smiling and maybe you don't need to.
I think most mug shots you don't really get a smile though.
No, but maybe communication is now, like what do they say, 70% of communication is nonverbal. Maybe what happens if we go, telepathic and then all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be more believable to say it's digital. Like if everyone in the future,
it's less of a leap, isn't it?
Say if it's 400 years from now, even planet Earth, you'd have so much integration with technology that we would receive 90% of our information digitally. Even if you're talking to someone right next to you, it would be converted into some sort of digital format for you.
Yeah. Hey, so I've just
future.
I just got a random article because I was trying to find what.
Yeah, thanks for signing me up for all those mailing lists. That's great.
What do you mean?
Oh, you signed me up to a mailing list, and now I get emails from them through the Vacuous Perspective at mail.com email.
From who?
Well, it's the Good News Network.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, you signed me up and I've been getting emails. It's not that good, man.
Oh, there's not that much good news. Are they struggling?
Well, we wanted good news, right? Like, anyway, you go with what you were thinking. I'm just riffing about Good News Network.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's see. I mean, we've got Oh, look, it's pretty much what we're talking about. I mean, it's worth looking into yourself. Just look up what this Colonel Fravor guy, who he testified in front of, and what his qualifications are, and what he describes. It's just awesome. It's cool. It's just it's an interesting, and it's corroborated by footage, which was leaked.
Yeah, and he's not an alien guy. He doesn't think
he's not an alien guy at all. He's not an alien guy at all. Yeah,
he doesn't think they're aliens. He doesn't.
He's just
doesn't
like,
buy into any of that shit.
He's just describing the technology he witnessed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when I said I was making up the numbers, I said 10,000 foot to 1 foot.
Is that right?
No, it says because they were detected. They detected the Navy detected a number of things around here.
Yeah, zippers.
And they've been detecting them for some time as well.
And they thought, let's have a look, see.
They detected what operators called multiple anomalous aerial vehicles over the horizon, descending 80,000 feet in less than a second. So Fravor and this other guy, Dietrich, diverted to investigate. So they had a visual on these things.
The dumbest part of the whole story, the craziest part of the whole story, is when it disengages, like it leaves, and he gets a radio call from the battleship or whatever.
They say, return to this checkpoint. They say, please return to this waypoint.
No, I'm pretty sure that it ended up at his mission ending beacon.
Yes.
So where he was meant to end up, which is classified.
That's what I mean about the waypoint. Yeah.
But not return to base, not RTB.
No, it wasn't base. It was where he was.
Here.
Yes.
And whatever the fucking thing was there waiting for him.
Yeah, 60 miles away.
That's
disappeared,
fucked up.
and reappeared, like where he was going to go to hang out.
Which is only information given to you at the briefing. So it will be known by you, your co-pilots, the other squadron with you, and your chain of command, basically.
It's the best UFO story I've ever heard.
It is.
Because it's all corroborated. The whole thing's corroborated and unexplained.
And it's from someone who's credible and able to talk about the kinds of things that he witnessed. It's crazy.
Well, he didn't talk about it for a long time. The way I recall it coming up is the footage got leaked somehow.
Yeah.
And it turned up on some, kooky alien type conspiracy website. And one of his mates or someone that used to be in the Navy that knows the thing goes like, hey man, check this out. And he goes, holy fuck, someone's got it. He goes, yeah, that's the footage. Like that's, he's got the same footage.
Crazy. And this was 2012, 13, something like that.
I thought it was 2004 that
Jesus.
It was early 2000s. It didn't get released for a long time. And he didn't think anything of it. He was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I've encountered, as in, he doesn't say it's aliens. He's just saying, and he didn't even want to admit it because he gets so much hassle. Apparently for the next week, they're all playing alien movies.
Well, there is a culture of silence in that community, in that sort of military pilot community, because people just think it's like a bit of a career blocker to make a big deal out of it because everyone's seen them apparently. Yeah. The amount of things that don't get reported is something like 90% that don't get reported. They think they're only getting 10% of the reports because there's a stigma. Okay. There's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, he was really not looking forward to returning to the aircraft carrier or the base or whatever it was he was going to. He was like, oh shit, the guys are going to give me so much crap.
Yeah. But he's really well-spoken, smart guy. I love watching the videos. They're great fun. Still don't know what the fuck's going on, but they're great fun.
We've talked about this before briefly, but Neil deGrasse Tyson wasn't even willing to entertain it at all. He didn't hear Colonel Fravor's story. Joe Rogan just flagged the essence of it like we just did to him. And he goes, look.
I was really disappointed with his answers.
I was very disappointed because he didn't – I'm not saying he had to
do anything.
No. What I want
he just shut it down.
He basically shut it down. He said, instruments need to be calibrated. Was it calibrated? He took a very, very scientific – but we're talking military grade precision. I'm not saying it's perfect, but there was multiple things corroborating this. I'm not saying any of them were perfect, but he wants hard and fast data, which I understand he's a scientist, and I think he's probably entitled to extra. What do they say? Like if you're claiming something extraordinary, you need extraordinary evidence.
That's always fair.
That is fair. I just didn't like the way that he's just having a conversation with someone. He can say all that, and maybe entertain the conversation a little bit more to see what he obviously is not a fan of anything. He just doesn't tolerate bullshit.
It was disappointing.
What I want is Colonel Fravor and Neil deGrasse Tyson to be talking together, because you can't dismiss someone's when he actually takes him through it and gives him his visual account and what the instruments said and things like that. So, and then Neil deGrasse Tyson goes, "Oh yeah, but this," and he goes, "Yeah, but like I fucking saw it. Like it's not an optical illusion. I know it was."
It's an opportunity for Neil deGrasse to go, "Hey, it could have been this," and Fravor goes, "Oh yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, you're right. Thanks."
Yeah, that would be nice.
That's fine too.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a good discussion.
That's fine too. Yeah, but there's no real reason for them to debate. Neither, like Neil doesn't want to get involved in that sort of stuff.
Oh no!
I think Sagan was much more alien friendly than deGrasse Tyson.
Yes.
Sagan didn't give a fuck.
When's that Sagan movie coming out?
We talked about that a while ago. I have no idea.
I know. Do you know what annoys me? We talk about so much stuff, but I don't retain any of it.
Oh no! How could you?
Hey, who do you prefer out of Neil deGrasse Tyson and Karl Kruslenski, Dr. Karl?
Between those two, like I was a big fan of deGrasse Tyson. I was really happy when he took over the mantle of like running Cosmos and stuff. I thought it was great. I just find him a bit wanky these days.
I know.
I used to find him.
I'm a Dr. Karl guy for sure.
I like Dr. Karl. Dr. Karl's really friendly, nice guy, but he's not in the same. They're not in the same like field.
Oh well, yeah, no. Dr. Karl's more of a medical doctor. Whereas
I just meant more like in terms of celebrity.
Oh, I was talking about conveying scientific concepts to a layman, I think.
Yeah, no, he's really good. He's really good at that. I think Neil deGrasse is pretty exceptional at that as well. Like the way he explains stuff is great. Just don't like his opinion on some stuff. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Like, let's see. Can we ask him what he thinks about the JFK assassination, or is that like, do we?
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
as an astrophysicist, what is his thoughts on it? That'd be interesting. I'd want to hear it.
I've got.
If he just said, "There's no reason to think anything but the official story happened," I'd just be like, "Yeah, I'm done with you."
Okay, so I've got an article here. I wanted to find out about Dr. Karl.
Yeah,
did a study about lint accumulating in belly buttons always being blue.
Bloody hell, Dr. Karl.
So he noticed, because he's just someone who is a bit like an observational. You know how like Seinfeld. For fuck's
sake. Who's the bloke who discovered, who's the guy who was talking about gravity?
The guy. Newton. Yeah.
Newton. He's like Newton, sitting there on his weekend, shirt off in Australia somewhere, 30 plus degrees, sitting there picking lint out of his belly button, going, "It's always blue." What the fuck is this? Fix the real shit. They got real problems down here.
It looks like
is lint a bigger deal than I thought it was? I don't know.
Do you know he won? This article says he won a Nobel Prize for this study.
Yeah, I believe that. Are you reading the Batuta Advocate or something, or the Bell Tower Times or something?
Oh, so not Nobel, but Naval Fluff Study wins prize. Okay, so. Oh wait, okay? Oh wait, okay. All right, I'm onto it. What's an Ig Nobel? Okay, the Ig Nobel Prize is a satiric prize awarded annually since 1991 to celebrate 10 unusual or trivial achievements in scientific research. Okay, we're on here.
Way more fun. Yeah,
okay,
way more fun.
So let me just close out on, so Dr. Karl was saying he was awarded this prize. He says, "I'm honoured."
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Ig Nobel winner researched the surface area of elephants. Another had considered the decay rate of beer bubbles. Japanese researchers won an award for developing a device said to be able to translate dog barks.
Wowzers in my trousers.
Did you just get a hard on?
I did. But also, that's not what I'm looking for. I want chats, but that's cool. That is cool. The text there.
Well, they won an award for developing a device that to be able to translate dog barks.
I think we can put the award in inverted commas, but yeah, we can do that.
Yet another went to research into the symmetry between left and right testicles in living men, as well as in paintings and ancient sculptures.
Is there money in this kind of science? Should we get involved in this kind of science? Like, this sounds just surveying people. Show us your balls.
I'm going to check this out. Sorry, I know you can't see me. Well, I hope you can't see me. The left testicle always hangs lower. Every medical doctor knows that, Dr. Karl said later, noting the study showed it had been understood for centuries by artists. So artists know this.
Of course they do.
I didn't know that. I just didn't think.
Have you not seen an ancient statue? They were quite comfortable with nudity back then.
Yeah, but geez, I mean, that's interesting they got that level of detail correct. Because, I mean, if I'm drawing the king's balls, as an artist, I'm going to make them very symmetrical because I assume that symmetry is one aspect of beauty, is it not?
Symmetry but they may want to capture someone's essence entirely, and that's what they would class as beautiful.
But I'm just
meaning
saying,
imperfection is beauty.
If I draw the king's testicles with one,
you get hung. You get killed for that.
Yeah,
you're dead.
You get murdered. Dead. You've been murdered for less. Like if a jester doesn't say a funny joke, he's dead. We have a very weird view of medieval times, don't we? We have a very strange view of it. I imagine it was quite civil because society was existing at the time. Day to day, very civil. Plus the threat of having your head cut off by the king for just doing a bad joke. Wow. All I'm saying is I'm drawing those testicles
perfectly.
Perfectly. And
as best you can.
As best I can. Because it's more effort to go to do an asymmetry in something is like more thought and effort. Anyway, Dr. Karl's winning work centered around on his internet naval lint survey, which attracted 4,799 responses. People were asked everything from their weight and whether their belly buttons faced in or out and whether they used top or front loading washing machines. Front loaders are always gentler on clothes while top loaders knock out more fibers, he explained.
Great. And what were the results?
I believe it's always blue, but some people sent in some of their belly button fluff to be examined.
What is the science there?
Okay, I'm going to get to it. The conclusion. The average generator of belly fluff is your slightly overweight, hairy, middle-aged male. Slim, hairless women could also collect belly button fluff if they wore tight clothes. And naval lint tends to be blue, possibly because most clothing contains shades of that colour.
Ugh. God. That was the most disappointing conclusion of results I've ever heard.
But you know what we've got
The
now.
conclusion is most clothes are blue.
But that has led me to Ig Nobel Prize on Wikipedia.
Which is a great place to be, right?
How do I get a list of what am I looking for here? The Ig Nobel Prize is a satiric prize awarded annually since 1991 to celebrate 10 individual or trivial achievements in scientific research.
I found the list.
Take me through some.
I'll just send it to you as well, so you've got it. Okay, what have we got? So they've been doing it, what did you say, since the 90s?
91.
91. So we'll look at the first year ever, because it would be interesting, right? Oh, here we go. In literature. Shit. Eric von Daniken, the guy who wrote Chariots of the Gods, for explaining how human civilization was influenced by ancient astronauts from outer space. Hey, do you know who Eric von Daniken is?
No.
He's the original creator of sort of the concept of ancient aliens that sort of, everyone from the Egyptians to the Mayans,
Oh, okay.
were helped by aliens, essentially.
Who's the guy that wrote 13th Planet?
I don't know. But
I thought he was the guy. Okay.
Nah, so he's in all those ancient aliens documentaries.
I think it's
as well.
the 13th Planet or something. Okay. I want to know who this guy is very quickly.
Edward Teller won the Peace Ig Nobel Award, the father of the hydrogen bomb and first champion of the Star Wars weapon system, for his lifelong efforts to change the meaning of peace as it is known. That's good. In 1992, Dr. Cecil Jacobson won the Ig Nobel Award for biology for he was relentlessly generous sperm donor and prolific patriarch of sperm banking for devising a simple single-handed method of quality control. I don't know what that means. Bloody hell.
92. The utilizers of spam, courageous consumers of canned comestibles for 54 years of undiscriminating digestion. I don't know.
Some of these are just little jabs, aren't they? Like, read the one below that.
What, Daryl Gates, former police chief of the city of Los Angeles, for his uniquely compelling method of bringing people together.
He's talking about the LA riots.
Oh.
So he won the Peace Ig Nobel Award in 92.
Oh, okay. It is a jab, isn't it?
It's massive jabs. Yeah. I'm sure he did a shit-ass job. No, I'm sure there's some real bangers in there. I think we need to hold our own awards night.
Yeah, maybe we can go through and get the best.
We should give out some VAC awards going forward. We can look at these we could do a yearly awards show, and we'll hand out awards in biology, chemistry, space, athletics, various things. And we'll do an awards night. That'll be fun.
Yeah, public health presented to Ellen Kriest of Nuuk, Greenland, and someone else from Oslo for their cautionary medical report, transmission of gonorrhea through an inflatable doll. It's a public health announcement.
Wow. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah, we'll check that out. A bit of homework?
Yeah, a bit of homework. Did you say that Dr. Karl won an Ig Nobel Award?
Yeah, for the blue belly button fluff.
So Karl should be on here somewhere?
Yeah, okay.
Yes, in 2003, economics. So no, that's not him.
Different Karl.
That's not him. He's not on this list. Oh, he is.
Oh, there he is.
Disciplinary research. Okay. For performing a comprehensive survey on human belly button fluff. Who gets it, when, what color, and how much. Bloody hell. Okay. All right, scientists, we've had enough. Get back to work.
Well, they're actually doing some real stuff, because I was going to give you a space balloon update. I think it's worth having the update now.
Give it to me.
Where are we at on the time? Okay, we got plenty of time. This won't take long. So you may recall that there was this thing called Spaceship Neptune by Space Perspective, and there was it was just a big balloon that was filled up, and it takes a capsule that includes a bathroom up into the stratosphere. I think it goes around 70 k's up.
Yeah, you can have a shit.
Well, I don't know if there's a toilet on it. They call it a spa. There's at least a bathroom, but I don't know if there's a toilet included. I don't know.
Okay.
They're hoping to be flying people at the end of the year, so they've just completed. It's called Spaceship Neptune Excelsior.
Oh. And this is all fine, isn't it?
Well, it's fine, other than I just found out that the balloons they use. So they've just the reason why I'm bringing this up is they have just constructed they've just assembled the first bubble thing. What do you call it? The room itself.
Oh yeah, the capsule.
It's not the prototype. It's basically the capsule. Yeah, and they've done the balloon, so they're almost ready to go. They just need to test this thing.
Oh right.
They think they're going to be flying people by the end of the year, but I've heard this before.
Yeah.
They reckon it's the largest windows ever flown into space.
So they had to claim something in space, and this was their best one.
Yeah. Yep.
They could have said the largest toilet in space. Make sure they've got it on board.
Yeah, and I mean, they probably will have that if they have a toilet at all.
Mm.
But the balloons they use are for a one-time use. What's with that?
Right, single use. What
they
do? They just pop.
I don't know. Because they come back to Earth. Maybe they're like structurally they're not sound anymore. I don't know, because I think they just go up and then come back down slowly. I think it's a 6-hour trip, and I don't think it's 6 hours up and then you just re-enter.
You don't balloon down though, right? You'd have like parachutes, right?
Oh, probably. Yeah, you might be right. But I know they use hydrogen to fill the balloon up. And when I heard that, all I could think of was what could possibly go wrong. And then I had an image of the Hindenburg in my mind.
Right.
I mean, that's the only other thing I know of that's been filled with hydrogen.
Hydrogen bombs. Also quite dangerous.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what the hydrogen's doing exactly. I don't know if there's hydrogen gas in that. I don't know.
I'm sure it's fine. And we're giving away 2 tickets?
Oh yeah, we're going to have a vacuous perspective balloon where just vacuous perspective people go up.
Right.
So sign up to the mailing list.
What are we going to fill that with?
There might be some representatives from Archie's thongs.
I was thinking more like fuel-wise.
Oh, well, I mean, we're going to have to stick with hydrogen, unfortunately.
Hydrogen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're practicing with, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, good. Send them up.
Mate, and Carnarvon is on the map. It is on the map.
It finally got on the map.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought it was on the map.
Yeah, but now it's like on the map.
Oh, the turn of phrase on the map.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like fully
Whoa.
front and center, because it has the current reigning, defending world's hottest temperature of this year.
Whoa. What is it?
Just after our podcast last week.
Yeah, when it was something stupid degrees.
Yeah, it got to 49.9 degrees Celsius.
Ew.
Tied for the 8th hottest temperature recorded in Australia all time.
Disgusting.
Jero got to 49.3, hottest day on record.
Bloody hell. And what is this? We're nearly in March. What's going on?
Yeah, it was 19 Feb.
Had enough.
I mean, Perth even got to a very respectable 42.9.
Jobless.
And it was 6th day at or above 40 degrees in February, which is a new monthly record. The previous record was only 4 days. So you're right thinking it's a hot month.
Bloody hell. I've had a gutful.
Well, you can take your anger out on the heat waves themselves, because the Climate Council is urging Australia to follow Spain's lead.
Yes.
And start naming heat waves like they do cyclones, so people can grasp how lethal and disruptive they are. So we put a name on it, right? We personalize it.
Wow.
We humanize it.
Wow.
So
we'd go through the letters.
Fuck you, Karen. You hot bitch.
Yeah.
Or you could go, Charles, you C-bomb. Stop being so hot.
You get about, 3 or 4 heat waves a year? Maybe 2? 3?
Yeah? I don't know.
Well, how many do you reckon we get?
1?
3?
I don't know. What is the heat wave? Is it just a certain amount of days over?
Yeah, over 35 or something. Or maybe even 33 is considered a heat wave. So we've had shitloads. We'd be going through the whole alphabet.
How funny was it how they were only calling cyclones women's names until recently?
Yeah, and then they
really
started
recently.
Yeah. I mean, it's always been A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right?
Yeah, but only women's names.
Yeah. I think we talked about this before. It's like boats. Well, they're all ladies, apparently. There's no men boats out there. What's going on?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is that a fact?
The vessel.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I don't know if that's a fact. If there's no,
Well, not the SS Winchester or whatever, or the bloody Roosevelt,
I think that's just
Franklin D. Roosevelt carrier ship. No, that's true. When people name boats, they're all ladies.
But the difference is you're just saying that it may or may not be right. But there was a naming protocol followed by the weather people, where they only call cyclones women's names. That's like a naming protocol. It's not like there is a naming protocol saying boats can only be called women. It's just that people just a lot of blokes own
obviously,
boats and want to call them women.
Obviously, men and women are destructive forces.
Yes,
but it's only been men, right? Recently have become destructive, but in the past, like in the 80s and stuff, and prior when they were doing the cyclone stuff, it was just women who were destructive.
Oh, was it?
That must have been the case. But obviously,
must have been.
Obviously,
yeah.
Because now they're naming cyclones men, right? Because it's the recognition that men are being destructive now, just as much.
I really like naming heat waves though, about to raise public awareness about the dangers, and also it really puts it front and center because it's
yeah.
Without a name, it's just this abstract thing. It's like, oh, it's been hot or it's a heat wave, and I'm like, how many heat waves are there? I don't know. But if we go, bloody Gavin, Bruce, and
it'd be
Gemma,
called like heat wave Gavin.
Yeah, heat wave Gavin, heat wave Bruce, heat wave Gemma, and you remember. So you have the crew from 2024. You have that little group that you hate on.
Yep. What do you mean group?
The names, because now there's a name associated with it. So it's like an easy way to refer to it. So Gavin, Gemma, and Bruce. Those those hot loose units. You can get angry at it. You can like hate on them.
Yeah. But they don't reuse the names.
No.
It's not like you'll be like, when I see you next year, Gavin, I'll fucking. Oh.
Yeah, it'll be a whole.
But there's
new
some
set of
people
names
out there who, when they see the forecast is very hot, heat wave conditions, they get excited.
Oh, the beach people.
They go, I love hot weather. It's
People
my
like the
favorite
beach.
weather. These are their favorite days of the year. In winter, they're hating life.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that.
One of the reasons people live here, or say they do, is the weather.
And Dr. Phil was back on Joe Rogan as well. I want to listen to that one. Yeah, I just saw one short, and it was Dr. Phil talking about the Chinese buying up farming land around US military installations in the US. Fuck yeah. I want to hear him talk about that.
Yep.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, medicine
Dr.
woman.
Phil talking about I'm on board. It was interesting though. He was I've seen the short of this on YouTube, and he was like, hey, I don't want to, I'm not saying all Chinese people are bad, right? So he was just like, but I just want to put facts out there, and I don't want them warped by any political agenda. And he goes, I just want everyone to know, I'm just putting my hand up to say that in 5 years' time, if people go, oh, I never knew this was happening, I just want to tell people so they know now. He goes, 33,000 Chinese illegally came across the border last year, the southern Mexican border. He goes, I'm just telling you. I'm just putting that fact out there. I was like, man, Dr. Phil. I was like, you are just on fire. You're talking about, the Chinese, you're buying up this farming land. I was like, this is wild.
Not just that, but the fentanyl crisis as well. Very similar notions in that.
Well, that's how I learned that all fentanyl, which is like the main killer, main killer in the US China, of people under the age of 30. Yeah, all fentanyl is produced in China and comes
across the border. Did Dr. Phil say this as well?
Dr. Phil did.
He did say that as well.
I know.
Yeah,
This is what I was thinking. I was like, man, that was last time he was on like a year ago. I was like, no. And then he's back at it. When I saw Dr. Phil was banging on about the Chinese again, I was like, fucking Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Look, I don't know, man.
He just says he wants to get facts. He's just like, I'm just saying facts. Because he says
I know, but how do you go back to your regular life after saying something like that? How do you go back to like doing the Dr. Phil show where there's a kid who won't eat his greens or whatever and he has to tell him, you got to eat your greens? Like, surely there's bigger shit on his mind now than...
The reason he says it, the reason that he says the reason he just wants to bring it up or the reason that he's come across this, because this isn't his wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
He says that these are some of the things bothering his patients that he talked to. He says that there's farmers who are going, hey, I'm just letting you know, like I'm stressed out about certain things that are happening near me. In that he says a lot of the processing of the grain is all owned by Chinese companies. And he says we don't have any other option in terms of if they don't take the grain, we can't get it processed. It's just saying that, you know, they're just saying, is there anyone paying attention to who's owning things because we're just feeling a little bit vulnerable. And he says that these are the things that are upsetting some of his, which sounds like xenophobic a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But what his point is, he's saying, I'm just saying, I don't take anything of it. He's saying, I'm not making any, I just want the facts to be known. So that's why he says about the numbers of he wants to point out that the farming land ownership issue and that we
have a similar thing in Australia.
Oh no, we do. But he was making the point that the US can't buy any land in China, yet alone around Chinese military installations.
Sure, but the government benefits from them being able to purchase things because the money flows in.
No doubt.
The country.
But he's saying it's a strategic. He's saying strategically, it's a lot smarter. Sure. And he goes that there aren't 33,000. If 33,000 US nationals were going across the border into China, they would be saying this is actually a really big security issue.
Sure.
Obviously, they're benefiting. The US is benefiting in a lot of ways because I would say, there's practical reasons why people would want to avoid an oppressive government.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's just reasons for them to be there. It's not all sinister. But he's just saying, don't. In 5 years' time, if there's X amount of illegal in inverted commas, just people that don't have the paperwork. It's interesting.
Don't come crying to me in my Los Angeles house. Like, I don't give a shit, Dr. Phil. Fuck me dead. You spent a lot of time throughout my childhood making me hate you. You know? Growing up, it was never cool to like Dr. Phil.
No, but I find his voice quite soothing now.
Oh,
except when he's talking about, the Chinese.
Yeah, it's so nice. This is lovely. That is all we've got time for. We'll be back. We do this every week.
Check your testicles.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty true.
Or don't. Just know that the left one's a little bit
just
danglier.
Yeah. And next week's different, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be different. Yeah, something else will happen.
Yeah. See you then.
Bye.